Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan here with another 1/6 scale Toy Talk review. Today, I have the Dragon and Dreams 1/6 scale World War I German Army Paul Baumer figure. This one is based on the character from the Netflix film All Quiet on the Western Front, which is based on the book of the same name. Now, I did get to read the book back in college and is one that I would recommend gets read at some point. It got me to think and helped me to further develop an appreciation for not just the common luxury, but also everyday needs. At least for the simpler things to consider. Going any deeper would make this video quite lengthy. In the end, the book really made me hungry. It really did. Anyways, it's pretty great to have a World War I figure to add to the collection, so let's get into the review. Okay, so let's take a look at our box real quick. A nice portrait of our figure, as well as on the side, if my camera would like to focus, there we go. A nice layout of all of his gear on the back, as well as his weapons. Another portrait on the side of him wearing like his coat. And nice side portrait on the bottom there. Now, as usual, we have the magnetic flaps on the side, and we can pull that off for a reveal of the interior cover. Then on the inside of the magnetic cover, we have this really cool no man's land background, which is like fantastic for doing like photos and just having like a nice little diorama background that comes with the figure. And we'll go ahead and pull this out. Then on the back of that is basic like figure handling information on how to handle the body if you have to. Set that off to the side. Our first foam layer reveals Paul, his primary weapon, and some of his gear. We'll go ahead and pull that out by these two tabs. Now, as usual, this is a ribbon that goes around and behind. So if you pull on one side, it's going to pull that all the way out and through. So you want to grab both ends and pull that out. Otherwise, it just makes it harder than it needs to be. And then we can see his greatcoat and his backpack on the inside of the bottom layer. I'm pretty sure that is the bottom layer. Let's go ahead and give that a tug. Yep. That's the bottom layer. So then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and take out all of these pieces and then set them out, and we'll go over each piece one by one. Okay, so here we have Paul and all of his gear out of the box. First thing we're going to do is take a look at our DiD figure. Let me move my light here. There we go. That's better. Let's take a look at his head sculpt. I mean, if you're familiar with the book and you've seen the Netflix movie that this is based off of, you can kind of understand why he has that very kind of shell-shocked, bleak look on his face. So it's very fitting that they kind of went with that. It is very well detailed. I mean, he's got some nice... he's got a nice hairdo going on. Given all that he's been through, I mean, you even see like the dirt detail on his face and around his ears. I don't imagine you get to brush your teeth too often with clean water besides what you're drinking. Very good job on the eyes. Very good job on the skin tone. I like it. Even his nose is like just a little bit like rosier pink than the rest of his face. Kind of like when you get a little bit cold. I like the way that looks. Still managed to be clean shaven too. Let's see, very good head sculpt. I like it. Then his German uniform. It's actually pretty nice, thick fabric actually. Some shoulder boards there. It's on the other side. Yep. Is that a crown? I can't tell what that is. I'm not as familiar with like World War I stuff as I might be with like World War II, so it's kind of hard for me to. I'm not as knowledgeable in it, and I'm not going to pretend to be. Does he have anything? Does he have an undershirt on? I wonder. Is this buttoned? Okay, so it's not like the snap buttons. I think they're actual buttons on there. Oh, he has like a striped undershirt on. That's cool. But I don't really want to go through the process of like trying to unbutton that. Because that can take a while and be a pain, and I don't want to use up that much of the video, but let's see. Can we spot it under here? I think so. Yeah, so that's a full shirt that he's wearing in case you want to take off the German uniform shirt. He's got like a striped undershirt on underneath there, which is pretty neat. Nice little. Are those more? Yeah, they're more of like the crowns on the back there. Nice pair of trousers. Then the leather boots, which are real nice. It's just be careful when posing these, because if you put them in an extreme pose and these crease, they can start to break apart. So always be aware of that and be mindful when you're posing your figures. Very nice detailing with the studs on the bottom of the boots. Nice painting. Not actually metal, but it looks good. Then right now he has actually those DiD does these nice bendy fingers, or I call them the Bendy Hands, where for his left and right hands, you're actually able to bend and pose them so that he can hold gear and equipment and weapons and whatever else he might happen to have in his hands that the pre-molded ones can't hold very well. And you can gesture them as you wish. So it's nice to get a pair of those. I actually really like those. Granted, like if you see the palms, you get those little holes in there, but usually if you're posing it and they're holding something, you really don't see that anyways. And they still look really good. There's still some pretty decent detail on there. You can see like the veins, some nice coloring on there. A little bit paler than the other ones, but still pretty good to have. Now, articulation. Of course, we have that swivel and good ball-jointed movement on the head. The arms. The uniform's going to scrunch up a bit. I'm sure with like the gear and the coat, it's going to be even harder to bend it. You don't want to push it too far. Always be careful with the joints. You don't want to break anything. Wrists. Always sensitive with the wrists. Be nice. I always ask for companies to include the additional wrist pegs in case they break. No matter how well made they are, things happen. So we get the same kind of movements. And the arms, pretty good. The torso seems to be in a few parts. I think we have like an upper waist piece. And then maybe like a middle or just like a lower waist. And like so 1, 2, and then the hips. So that we get really good movement in the waist. And then legs. Probably limited really only by his trousers and maybe any of the gear that we put on him. And then when it comes to the ankle joint, which would just be that regular footed ball joint, I think his foot is a separate piece in there, like, so we can take the boots off, but yeah, posability is limited because of leather boots. If you do bend it, it starts to get extreme and risks bending and tearing the leather on his boots. So just be aware of that if you're going to pose his feet. But very good range of motion on the figure otherwise. Other than maybe because of the boots and limitations of his outfit and his gear. So let me set him off to the side. And we'll start looking at his equipment. Now let's actually look at his rifle first. We have a Gewehr 98. It is made out of wood and metal. I think it also has like an actual leather strap on here as well. Let me move my light so we can get a better view. Now I think it does have a little bit of functionality. Let's look at the other side real quick. I think, let's see. I was curious if that could be adjusted. I don't think it can. However, we do get some bolt action on here. Trying to be careful, so that will open up. And then we get a magazine there. So we do get a little metal clip, 5 bullets on it. That can be loaded into our rifle. Now I wonder, did I do something wrong here? I don't know if there's a specific way to do it. I don't know if we could actually close it. But you can set it in there. Like as if like you wanted to pose him loading it. Or would these technically slide out? Okay, so I think the bullets might actually be individually loaded onto the clip. Because I think I can slightly slide them around on there. Now, I'm not going to do that because they're crimped on there pretty well. But at least you could like maybe pose him to be loading that in there, which is pretty cool. So let me take that out so I don't forget it. Slide the bolt back into place. I always like when they add the actual loading functions on these. It's a pretty nice looking rifle. Set those off to the side for now. Then we have a couple of ammo pouches, which will slide onto his belt. Now they don't have any clips on the inside of them. I think they have a little bit of stuffing in there. They have these buttons on the bottom. If we open these up, we can see that they're just kind of filled with foam to make him look like he's carrying things in them. Stick that back on there. But we get 2 of those that will nicely go on the belt. Pretty cool. We get an entrenching tool. We could just call it a shovel. Now, let's see. I do believe, yeah, it's metal and wood. It can be unstrapped, but I like how nice that looks, and I don't think I'm going to pose him just kind of holding a shovel. I'll probably just attach it to his backpack. So I'm just going to kind of leave that in there for now. He gets a canteen that will also, you could either rig it onto his backpack, or it should also maybe go onto his belt as well. Let's see, can the, ooh. So the top cork actually does unplug on there, so that's pretty cool. I like it when they can do that, because then you could actually pose them kind of unscrewing it. Maybe like make it look like they're drinking from it. And then this has like a nice soft fabric all around the outside of it too that's buttoned down there. I like that. Has a nice weight and feel to it too, so I wonder if it's either like heavy resin or maybe even metal. Now here we have a metal gas mask canister. Now the gas mask that comes with this, I don't think you're just not going to want to try to fit that in there, because one of the things about the miniatures is when you shrink things down to the size, because of the materials that they're made of, they're just not going to have the same functionality as the life-sized things. So it's just meant as a set piece rather than actually functioning as the canister to hold the actual miniature gas mask. But it is hollow and it does open up, and it's made of metal. I do like that it has this little latch on there, but it's very thin wire metal. Doesn't look like it'll break too easily, but I would say be careful with that a little bit. And it has a nice strap on there too. Then we have a mess kit, which is also metal. Now this one I actually am curious about. Let's see what parts are in here, if any. Nope, it's empty. That's too bad, but at least we know. So we've got like the deep container and then kind of like the plate bowl. Still, it's nice to have. It's made of metal, and the interior actually looks kind of nice. It's like a little handle on the top. Or coming off the sides, I should say. Let's see, we have his bayonet and sheath. Must be made out of metal because it has a nice weight to it. There we go. Yeah, so it's not sharp, but it does have a pointy end to it, so be a little bit careful. So that looks pretty good. But if it's a bayonet, like how is that? How does this affix to the rifle? Well, they're calling this a scabbard. Oh, does it? There we go. Okay. That's how. So there's a little slot on the end of it. And that goes over that. Be careful because that's pretty thin there. And I'm pretty sure that would bend easily. And then that goes on there. But I think, yeah, it'll just slide right off. So you can put his bayonet on. It just slides off pretty easily, I think. Let me put just a little bit of pressure to see if it... No, it doesn't snap on or anything. Okay. Good to know. Still pretty cool. You could always hide a little bit of either some like fun tack or some fabric tape to kind of just hold that on. Then we have a hand grenade, which is wood and metal, which is pretty cool to hold in the hand. I wonder... Oh, that is cool. You can pop the end off, and then it has the little pull string underneath. I didn't know that was actually there. I was just curious and just started unscrewing that. That's pretty cool. I like that. I appreciate that little detail, and I'm glad I found it. Oh, but then, Might be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get that cap back on. There we go. Okay. Oop. That's pretty thin. That bent a little bit further out than I would have wanted it to. I almost broke that. Okay. That had some weight to it too. I like that. He also comes with a piece of balaclava to go over his face. Very basic fabric, but it's cut pretty nice. Then I think one of these, I think it's this one, might be a belt for his trousers. And this other one is like his equipment belt. I'm holding it upside down. There we go. Yeah, with the crown on there. It's a cool buckle. Then if we take a look here, we have a couple little baggies with a couple little extra buttons in case some things fall off somewhere. Then he has his German dog tags. Let's see if we can't zoom in on that. Whoop. Which looks pretty good and it's readable. Nice. And they're metal too, but they're attached to like this simple little string. Here we have a metal Stahlhelm. Accurate to the one he wore in the movie. The little leather interior with straps. It's pretty cool. I like it. Here we have a little M1917 Field Cap. Which almost looks like kind of like a little bowl or a basket. It's pretty simple, but it looks nice. A couple little insignias on there. Has a little bit of a puff to it too, like it's just kind of naturally like this. Kind of like that. Like it maintains its shape on its own. Now here we have that gas mask. Now this is not going to fit into that little canister. But that is a pretty cool design on there. Now for a brief moment I kind of questioned, okay, so why would there be like this little like Imperial TIE fighter looking design on the inside? But I think that's to kind of help those little glass panels stay in place and not like shatter into his eyes if something happens. Or at least that's my guess. The filter looks kind of neat. And, lots of cinch straps on this. So that looks pretty cool on there. All right. Then here, they just have this listed as a bread bag. Now, there's nothing inside of it. It's just an additional bag for him to carry as equipment. Made of a nice material. Like, a lot of this stuff is, like, very good quality. Like, I haven't come across really anything, like, thin or cheap. I really like this. Then we have his backpack. Now, the inside, it feels like they inserted some cardboard along with the foam to make it like a little bit more rigid and give it that nice shape. He also has this bedroll strap pre-strapped on there. I'm going to keep that on because that looks nice rolled up and attached there as is, but you can unstrap that and pull that off, but then it's just like a simple blanket is what it is. But this is going to be kind of interesting putting this on him. I think it goes Right, so those go through his shoulders, and then those yeah, I'll figure out how that goes on. And it comes with a greatcoat. Some nice shoulder boards on there. And on the inside, has some nice fabric on the inside there as well. Looks pretty good. And then they're not snap buttons, they're actual buttons that you'd have to pull through. So if you want to put that on, that's going to be just a little bit time consuming. Just be careful with that. I think all of the buttons are those little crowns as well. This does not have any wiring in it for posability, though. Just to let you know. Some of them do. This one apparently does not. And lastly, other than his bendy hands, he comes with semi-closed fists, a trigger hand, and one to kind of like hold his rifle and maybe some equipment. And, I mean, that's the figure and all of his equipment. I'm going to go ahead and assemble him off camera and do a montage. This figure is really well done. While the shell-shocked expression on Paul's face doesn't make for very good photo shoots, it is still well done and quite fitting for the purpose of what the book and film convey, including the classic character portraits depicted on the book and film covers. The variety of accessories allows for multiple looks and even has the potential to hide the character's face, and you could make up a few more World War I Germans using the same figure without having to buy new head sculpts. I was quite happy with the quality of the clothing and accessories in this set. All of the fabrics felt thick and well made. The weapons and accessories were wood, metal, and genuine leather with some expected plastic parts. I did eventually find out what that extra belt was. It was a strap that goes around the back of his neck and connects to his ammo pouches. I did have a couple issues with some of the factory adhesive coming undone on the canteen and the filter of the gas mask falling off. I was, however, easily able to fix this by attaching some double-sided fabric tape to them, and they stayed on and together. Overall, it's a great figure, and I like adding some historical figures from other wars to my collection. I do often wish there were some instructions on the ideal way to set up these figures, because sometimes I'm honestly baffled about what accessories and parts go where on these, and it takes me some time to look it up. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Do you collect a variety of figures across wars or genres, or do you stick to a single niche that suits a specific interest? I focus on World War II, but I'll still get a fair variety of figures from other wars, eras, and genres. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.